Hello, welcome back to episode 5 of Talk It With Brockett. Today, for the second time, we have a very special guest, my friend, Leah Beliveau.
Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be back here.
This is so great. I love having you on.
Yes, thanks, Alana.
Our last episode was so great and so fun that I decided to have Leah on again, a little bit for a different reason. You may notice that Leah and I are both wearing blue. Why is that, Leah?
Oh, yeah. So we got the sweat sets on, we got the color in the back, and it's actually because today we are going to be talking about ALS, the disease, and if you didn't know this, blue cornflowers actually represent the disease because they represent hope. So yes. I thought, let's put our blue on and talk about it.
Yes. So for our viewers or anybody who may not know, what is ALS?
So a lot of you might remember actually back in 2016, there was the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Did you ever do that, Alana?
I didn't because I was very little at the time.
Yes.
But I do remember seeing a lot of, I think like Justin Bieber did it.
Yeah.
And like really big celebrities did it.
It was all across social media. It was very popular. Yeah. But even though I had heard about it, I had no idea. I'm like, ALS, what are you talking about? I know, like, what is that? So for anybody who doesn't know, obviously, like what Alana just said, ALS is a disease that attacks the nerves that control your muscles. So over time, your brain breaks down those signals that make you lose movement in your body. So, for example, if I want to raise my hand right now, my brain is telling my nerve signals in my body, you're going to do that. Unfortunately, over time, that breaks down, so you won't be able to do that anymore. The worst part of it all is that there's no cure yet, but there are amazing doctors around the world, amazing researchers, and maybe one day there will be.
Yeah. Has ALS come close in your circle? Has it affected like anybody around you?
Yes. So at the beginning of 2023, my dad was actually diagnosed. We noticed some things a little bit beforehand. His ankles would sometimes give out. And we kind of were like, what is happening? Like, what does that mean? And I remember my cousin, she got married in November, so just 2 months before he was diagnosed. And he couldn't dance at the wedding because he just felt like weakness, I guess. We're almost thinking that even though he was diagnosed at the beginning of 2023, we think that it might have been lingering for a while considering he was having these complications. But it was finally down on paper at the beginning of that year. So it's been a little bit over 2 years now. And I mean, it's a big change.
Yeah.
It's a really big change in your family. I don't think a lot of people realize that with any illness, cancer, Parkinson's, that affects a lot of people around you. And it's hard. And it is the way it is. You know, these things do happen.
Yeah. I think sometimes unexpected things happen and you kind of just have to deal with it.
Exactly.
It's hard. Tell me about what was the like time around your dad being like officially diagnosed. What did that look like in your life?
So it was a little bit ago, obviously. So it's kind of hard to remember, you know, every single detail.
Right.
I remember he sat a few of us down, him and his kids, like I said in the last podcast. There's 5 kids. So
a lot of kids.
That's a lot of people to tell.
Yeah.
I get scared to show emotion around my family. So I kind of just sat there and I was like, okay, what is this? The thing is I was going back to school really soon because it was still on winter break. I remember getting back to school and I did the common thing that everybody does. I went onto Google and was like, hey, what is this? What's going on? And, you know, Google scared me by telling me all these facts, but saying like the lifespan and everything. So I start freaking out being like, oh my God, what's happening? Like, is this it? You know? But I ended up calling my mom on the phone, talking to her, and she reassured me and everything. She was like, he's going to have great care. Everything's going to be okay, you know? And because it started in his ankles, it's a slower progression. And like I said, there isn't a cure yet, but they give you a medicine. Listen, I'm not an expert, so I don't know the full name of it, but it's some oral medication that helps slow it down.
Does he take it like every day?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it was very more so a confusing time. That just progressed to be like emotional.
Yeah, because I think it's a big time for you. You know, it's kind of towards the beginning of college. You're kind of going through this big life change.
Yeah.
What's the age range of your siblings?
Oh my God. This is crazy because whenever I tell people, they're like, whoa. So my oldest brother is 40.
Whoa.
There we go. Oh, God. Okay, so then my next sister, I believe she's 38.
Okay.
And then my next sister, she's 30.
Okay.
My brother's 28.
Okay.
And then you got little Leah, who's 21.
Oh, so you're the baby.
I am the baby, yes.
Okay.
It ends with me.
Okay, so you're the baby. All right. That's a lot of people to tell. A lot of different kind of age ranges. A lot of different places in life.
A lot of places in life, like a lot of maturity places, you know.
Yeah.
You're telling your youngest daughter who's just in college, and then you're telling your oldest son who is married, has a family, job, house. So it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people are familiar with a very famous actor named Eric Dane.
Yeah.
Who was known for Grey's Anatomy primarily, but I think to the younger generation, Euphoria, played Nate Jacobs' dad. And he, about a little over a year ago, was diagnosed with ALS and then recently, very sadly, passed away. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like him being diagnosed and such a public figure helped like bring awareness to ALS?
I think so. And I almost feel like that's so horrible to say because it's like, oh, you know, thank God that you got diagnosed because now everybody knows.
I know, yeah.
Something I will say, though, is that he did so much for the ALS community. I don't have all the facts on paper, but from what I know of about following the ALS organization on Instagram, he donated so much money. He helped researchers. Like, he was in the family. Yeah. You know? And something that I definitely idolize is that he was so positive about it, you know?
He was.
There's not really much you can do with this disease, but the way he took it, it was just so heartwarming. Yeah. You know, it felt I don't even know. It's like this is the type of thing where I feel like I don't even have words to explain it, you know?
Right.
But he was loved so much on Grey's Anatomy, so much on he was loved on Euphoria, but
he's a difficult character on Euphoria.
His character, wow. It was a whole thing. That's why his character was so easy to hate because he was so good at acting.
And Natch was a good actor. He had really insane range because he had this like big career in Grey's Anatomy as this like beloved doctor, and then
McSteamy.
And then we see him in Euphoria, and so I think he just had this big range, this big career, and then suddenly, you know, he's diagnosed with this disease that's so sad, and I think he also has really young daughters too. I think they're in their teens. I want to say
they're teens, yes.
So I think that for a lot of people to see him going through this, it was devastating. It was devastating, and then for him to have died about a month ago, maybe. I think.
It was in February.
Yeah. Very sad.
No, it was so hard too because Euphoria season 3 comes out on April 12th.
Right.
And watching him, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But it's also gonna be so. It's gonna feel very motivating because he filmed while he was sick.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah.
You know, not many people can film or do a job when they're sick, and he did that. You know,
he wanted to.
He finished on a great path, and I think his legacy as an actor and as an advocate for the disease will honestly go on for a long time.
Yeah, and he also played an ALS patient in a movie too, and so I think he
Did
was
he
like,
really?
yeah. And so I think he was kind of depicting like him, he's playing himself, you know, and that couldn't have been easy. And I think it's just such a hard mind space when you have this disease and you know, you don't have forever, you know,
exactly.
It's kind of forcing you to think about mortality. And I think that's so difficult. And so I really admire how he was able to live his life and have strength because there was no other option.
No, right. Exactly. He lived life to the fullest. Yeah. Like he took that saying and he went with it. Yeah. And, you know, I pray for his family, for his daughters. Yeah. They know that he had great care and he was a great man. And they knew. Yeah. Like they knew there was not really a lot they could do but love him. And that's so important. Right. And, you know, they're going to grieve and it's going to be hard, but it's unfortunately the way life goes. Yeah. We all have to do it. Yeah.
What does like the progression of ALS look like through the course of the disease?
So it really looks different for everybody. Okay. So I mentioned a little bit ago how it started in his ankles, right? Mm-hmm. So it could start down below and then kind of work its way up. But for other people, that's not really the case. It could start, let's say your throat. Mm-hmm. That's not really good because ALS is going to attack the breathing muscles. Mm. So if it starts up in your chest and throat area, it's going to progress quicker because then you're going to have to get breathing machines. You could get tubes in you. It's horrible, but it happens. But like with my dad, it started in his ankles and it went all the way up. So he's in an electric wheelchair because I mean he can't walk, you know. He still has a little bit of movement left in his fingers, you know, but like I said, you know, your brain attacks the nerves that affect the muscles. So like I said, eventually that's going to fade away.
Right.
You know, but as far as his breathing goes, you know, he does breathing exercises every day, but he's not at the tube process yet. So I think it depends where it starts and then it goes from there. I'm not a doctor and I'm not an expert at it. I only really know from my experience, but I think with this disease, but with any other sickness, it can all look so different on anybody.
Right. Yeah. How are you kind of like coping with your father having this disease?
So I think it's been a long time where I think you finally accept it.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning, there could be denial, like, oh, this isn't real, or, oh, they'll find a cure tomorrow, or there's going to be a miracle. And miracles do happen, but in this case, probably not. Eventually, like, we all had to learn as kids to accept it. As my mom, she had to accept it. And that's kind of just it. And my best advice is that you really have to live in the present. You know, I don't really know when the last day is going to be that I have with him. So why should I really worry about that when I can worry about the fact that he's here? You know, I can enjoy time with him. You know, we can talk. I can hear stories about his life. You know, that's most important to me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying each day's easy. I'm not saying it's easy at home, but you have to live life. That's really all you have to do, you know? And like I said in the last podcast, there's 5 of us. We all take very good care of him. I know I mentioned how we all have kind of like a schedule, or at least my siblings do. I live there, so it's free for all for me. But, you know, I said before, one person comes on this day, another person comes on that day. So it's like he literally gets to see his kids every single day.
Oh, he must love that.
He does. Yeah. And then sometimes my brother and sister, they'll bring their kids over so he gets to see his grandkids. You know, he's like...
Amazing, yeah.
He's living the dream right now. Yeah. He's literally with his family.
Yeah.
And God bless his friends because they call him every day.
Aww.
So as much it's hard for him living in the house, you know, when I'm not him, I can't imagine like what he's feeling like in his brain.
Yeah.
But as a bystander, he has so much support.
Yeah.
So it's like, we just gotta love him, you know?
And you also mentioned last podcast that after graduation, you're going to move home and be there for a while, right?
So yeah, I'll be there, you know. I have a summer job, but I am job searching for a real career and everything. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not going anywhere. It's just going to be good old Westford for me.
Yeah. So what type of advice would you give to somebody else whose family member was just diagnosed with ALS?
Yeah, and that's a hard question.
Yeah.
You know, because I just talked about acceptance, and a lot of people actually might not even they might not ever accept it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's so hard, you know, no matter what sickness you have. But like I said before, hug your loved ones, you know, be there for them. Tell them that you love them. You really don't know when the last day is going to be with anybody, your family, your friends, your significant other. So you have to live life to the fullest, you know, sick or not, family comes first. Your family matters, you know, take care of them and do what they love to your ability, you know, just be there for them. I really can't stress it enough, you know, and especially in this scenario where there's not much we can do.
Right.
Love is probably the most powerful thing.
Right.
So I wanted to actually show you. I brought a little something. So this was actually when my dad first got diagnosed. Have you ever heard of Little Words projects? The bracelets?
I don't think
so they're basically these like beaded bracelets, and I actually have a few of them, but they have so many messages on them. Some of them are like, oh, stay strong, or love, family, literally you name it, it's probably on the bracelet. My sister actually had custom made bracelets.
Aww.
So I'll show them.
Oh, that's so cute.
It says SRB strong. So, and it's blue, not only to represent the flower, but blue was my Nana's favorite color, which is my dad's mother. So she definitely thought it was the most fitting, and we all wear this bracelet almost every day. So she got it for all the girls in my family. So me, my sister, and my mom. And I mean, I love it. And I actually just saw another bracelet online that actually is an ALS bracelet, and I ordered it because I'm like, I'm gonna wear that, you know. So it's like, it's the little things, you know. But,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, just got to get through each day. And,
Yeah.
you know, life is a beautiful gift. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Leah, for coming on the podcast and for kind of being vulnerable here and talking
Of
about something
course.
difficult. Thank you so much.
No, again, and thank you for having me. And, you know, I really hope that I could help anybody with this message, you know, whether they know somebody, whether they have it, whether they're going through it with a loved one, you know, it's really hard, but you're never alone. So thank you, Alana. I'm so glad I got to share my story.
Of course.
Thank you.